you might be wondering what is going on here. It is still the Women's Series. I mean, anytime you see my face, obviously, you know that it is the Women's Series. Thank you for joining us once again on the Women's Series, where we capture developments and stories that impact women. Let me officially welcome you if this is your first time on the Women's Series. Yeah, we capture developments and stories that impact women, from career talk to entrepreneurship to business to politics, anything relating to women. Basically, we want to empower ourselves, we want to learn from each other, and exactly what is going on. That's what we're doing here today. For the month of July, we've had an interesting conversation around the morals, wealth, and the girl child. It's been a learning point for me, especially when touching on parental part of it. I just got to realize that parental education is of utmost importance, very, very key. We cannot put that aside. As much as we say that, I mean, I think I've repeated that throughout this episode. As much as we say that there is no manual to parenting, it is important that we take part in the parental education. It is very, very important. We can't keep carrying the baggage from our previous life or from our background and think that is going to work in this present generation. As much as possible, we need to learn, we need to unlearn, and then we need to relearn. Now, we're continuing in that light today, and we're taking a different twist today. We're celebrating parenthood. We've had so many, I don't want to put the negativity to it, but I mean, it's been kind of really emotional. And today we just want to have fun, want to have a relaxed environment, want to talk about parenting and hear from someone's perspective on how our journey into parenting has been. My guest today, I need to take a deep breath and introduce my guest today. My guest today is none other than the MD and CEO of Proshare Nigeria. I'm speaking with Grace Ajuwon. Thank you for joining me today. It's great to have you.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very well, thank
you.
By
the way, you look good.
Thank you.
I think I've said that before.
Yeah, thanks so much.
I really appreciate this, the opportunity given to me, at least, to be a guest today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, we've had different conversations. We've had different perspective to parenting, at least in past 2 weeks. And one particular one that stood out for me was learning the importance of parental education. And I want to believe that parenting starts from the conception of the child. That is where it starts from. That's where we can even say, you might be married, but not a parent, right? But it starts from where you conceive, where the mother or the woman is pregnant. Now, bearing that in mind, some people are of the opinion that some women do not enjoy or they don't like the feeling of getting pregnant, being bloated. They might love the feeling of, oh, I'm pregnant and whatnot, but when it has to affect their physical and their health and whatnot, their physical changes, basically, they don't like it. And some people love and enjoy this experience. They look forward to it. Now, do you think that pregnancy experience play out in the way you care and love your child?
Yes, I would say it actually plays a very great part. There's a very great part, when you get pregnant. So basically, when you become pregnant, there's a change in your mindset, not just your physical appearance. There's also a change in your emotions. There's also a change in your hormones. Your hormonal structure also changes. So all of these things put together actually affect the way you'd see the child first. Because then some people, when they are not ready for it, then they start having some various thoughts. So that's why we have the thoughts of, should I get rid of the child? Should I, go on this journey and all of that? So yes, being pregnant, it comes with its own experience, because I would say it's like a journey. And with that, definitely when you're on a journey, there are pitfalls, there are happy moments, all of the thrills and the good times, the turns and the thrills, all of it put together affects the way you see the child. And when the child is birthed, again, there's also the parts of the spouse. When your husband is someone that is understanding and helps you through that journey, then again, it's an experience that you love. But when it's such that you have to probably journey on that path on your own, then there's quite a lot. For some, they actually accept it and they bear with it and they enjoy the moment, while for others, they might have not been mature enough to actually deal with all of the experiences that come with that journey. But again, so these are the things, and for there's no one size fits all, right? So the way it happens for a Madam A might not be the same way it will happen for a Madam B, right? So these are the various things, and again, what you get to learn, what you get to hear from people, also shaping the way you perceive pregnancy and the way you then adapt to it.
So I've heard different stories about pregnancy, right? There's one recently that I heard. I want to hear from your own personal experience now. There was one that said after she had her first child, she was like, I'm never going to get pregnant again. This is going to be my last, blah, 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 and all of those things. And then all of a sudden, she took it again. And she's like, I'm just going to enjoy the ride. Was that the case for you?
Okay, so for my first daughter, I was actually expecting her. I really wanted her to come at that time, and yeah, I really loved carrying her and all of that because I wanted it. But for my second, I wasn't ready because I wanted it to be like the space. Aside from the space, I was an only child for about 10 years.
Wow.
So I really wanted, a situation where I would have that me and my child and my husband, just the three of us kind of feeling. I'm not wanting a, second baby that will just, spoil the whole thing. But when God said, okay, yeah, it's time, I took in, and funny enough, I didn't even accept it. Like for about 2 months, it was like, no, I'm not pregnant. Like, no, because I didn't accept it. At some point, I was almost tending to depression. But after a while, I just like, okay, it's here. And just have to carry the child, right? And you just have to go through the moment. So for me, taking in and, coupled with quite a number of things that we have to deal with, family life and all. It's been an interesting journey. So I wouldn't say I've had to, think twice or maybe regret that the fact that I took, I currently have 2 children after about 5 years. Yeah, 6 years this year in marriage. Yes, so that's it.
Interesting. Now, we've talked about the child parts, where the child came in. Now, it now comes into where we now start to train up the child and then impact the child. The child has to learn from you and all of those things. What is your philosophy in regards to that?
So for me, I'm quite a liberal person, and
I can tell.
I don't believe in forcing people. So my parenting style is a bit in this line, in this direction. And growing up as well too, I was not really forced to do things. My dad didn't really, compel me to do certain things. So for me, my style of parenting is mainly one, understanding the child, right? And again, you might not really know the child until certain ages because they don't show all of their characters. But as time goes on, most times from age 2 to 5, you get to start seeing who they really are, right? And for me, it's just be a permissive parent. A parent that allows the child, to make choices, to make their own decisions, and also, then bring in your own values, instill your own values. I'm very big on values, a value system, and it's something that I ensured I nurture. So though I'm a permissive parent, I have a spouse that is quite authoritative. So when you just say your daddy is coming,
So your tent in Israel.
Exactly. They sit up and they know, no, this has to be done. And sometimes my husband is always upset with me, saying that you need to be assertive. You need to be like, well, it's not all the time. Shay, you're already assertive. You be assertive. Let me be their friend. So we played like the good cop, bad cop thingy, where when daddy is shouting, they have mommy to run to. When mommy is shouting, they have daddy to run to, and it tries to like create a balance, yeah, between how they appear, how they are shaped. And again, they are girls. Currently, I have girls. In future, well, I got a boy. But so for the girl child, I understand that the way you train them is quite different. That's what we've been taught, right? It's quite different. Though back in the days, the way you train a girl child is more like she has to be in the kitchen, and that's where she has to be, or she has to know the house chores and all. But these days, we know it's changing, and again, you have to just ensure their balance, right, from financial, from their spiritual life to their physical life, financial life. So all around they have to be balanced. Yes, a balanced day. So for me, I'm big on ensuring there's a balance. So you don't have to be too tough and you don't have to be too soft. That's my own philosophy.
Right. So were there things that you were told about parenting that you feel like you're practicing now, you're making use of those lessons now? Or were there things you feel like, they didn't tell me about these things and now I'm seeing them play out? Were there those things?
Well, with respect to parenting, not so much enlightenment or education.
Well, they don't
Yes, we
kind
don't
of
really
train
talk
us.
about,
Yes,
yes, we don't really
there are
talk
things
about
that they
parenting.
don't talk. The only thing they tell you as a mother or as a woman is that one day you go to your husband's house,
Endure.
exactly, endure. For people that
Yeah.
don't understand, you will learn from it. There's a way
Yes.
they say it in Yoruba, ile oko,
Ilé
ile
ẹ̀kọ́.
oko,
Yeah.
and then school or something related to that. That you get to pick out those things when you
Correct.
get there.
Yeah.
So was that the case for you?
So for me, in terms of for marriage, I heard and read a lot around marriage, but for parenting, not really. So it's more like learning on the job for me right now, because really we were never really told like you have to nurture the child in this way. But thankfully I have a grandma that is quite experienced and she's been with me for over 5 years, so she's been one of my support system that I rely on for guidance in terms of, okay, should we do it this way, and before you even ask, she's ready to tell you this is what you need to start doing at this time, this is what you need to start doing at that time. So I think in terms of education, she's been someone that I look up to guide me in that area. So, well, a bit of education, but not like, okay, something formal or something really structured to say this is the way, okay, you understand that this child is this way and this is how you have to treat the child. So all of those kind of education. And now even as they grow up, there's also the bit of sex education. There are so many aspects of education that needs to also come in for the child. Emotional intelligence too is key. And so all of this beyond just the book and the techie aspect of their lives also need to be nurtured as well. And for me, this is more like their foundation stage, right? So, and you just need to understand the child, because every child, just like every individual, is different. Even though they are twins, they are different, right? So you need to understand the child, need to understand their likes and dislikes, need to understand when you need to call them to order, when you need to let them be, give them their freedom, and just ensure that they grow, they are exposed, and they live a balanced life.
I love the fact that you touched on your grandma helping you out, because a lot of people nowadays believe that their generation is extinct, so their parenting skills cannot come to play in this present generation. And you also touched on sex education, which is of course is very, very very, very absolutely important in this age and time to educate people like that. Now, as a career woman, you're very hands-on with your work. You're very, very busy. You spend most of your time in the office. How are you able to balance both? I know you've talked about your grandma helping you out, so let's talk about something else.
As my support system. Okay, so for me, I work with an A to E principle. So the A is first acknowledging that I can't do it all by myself.
Are you taking notes? If you have to jot things down at this point, you probably might have to.
So many women think, yeah, like superwoman, I can do this, I can do this, I can juggle all, and they want to really show that yes, I can do what a man cannot do. Well, you need to understand that you can't do it all yourself. Then be an early riser. So for me, I learned that quite early, that it's necessary to be an early riser. When you rise up early, there are so many things you can, so many grounds you can cover, both as a career woman and
So what you
also
mean
as
be
a
an early riser? Waking up
yes,
early?
waking up early. Yeah, that's
for,
it.
not for we that sleep
So
till 6, 7.
well, so that's why I say be an early. Not everybody actually want to do such, especially most women spend most of their time at home, but for career women, when you you need to juggle so many things. And funny enough, even women that spend most of their time at home, they're actually early risers, because then you have to wake up, prepare for your husband, prepare for the kids to go to school, then you probably then have your own spare time during the day, to just chill out and all. But rising early just helps you to cover so much ground. So the reason why I say rise early is because during the day there are so many distractions, and when you rise up early, there are things you can do for your own self that you might not be able to do when the old up and down and everything start happening during the day. But for some others, their early rising might be 3 a.m., some might be 5 a.m., some might be 6 a.m., depending on your schedule. So there is no one size fits all. You just need to do what works for you. But early rising is, as much as possible, rise when you know people are not up and about around that time, so you can have your me time. Then for C, communicate. I'm currently big on communication, right? Because first you communicate with your heavenly Father, that's God. Then you also have to communicate with those around you. So there was a time when I used to be so sad, like I'm not getting help from this, I'm not getting help on that, I'm not getting help. And what just keeps coming to mind, did you ask? Do you expect them to be witches and wizards that they will know that
They
yes, you
understand that
need
that's what
this,
you
you need
need.
that?
Yeah.
And for women, most times we believe we have the signs. I'm giving you a sign, you should understand. But to be
Science still
honest,
cannot do it
yes,
justice to
you
you.
just need to communicate what you want, what you expect, and not just assume that they should know, right? Then for D, basically, with respect to communicating, you have to also be able to delegate. Like I said in A, you can't do it by yourself. So be able to delegate, understand the strengths. So for your husband, you might know, oh, he has strengths in this area. Maybe being able to nurture the children, take care of them, pack your stuff. For some others, their men might be good with house chores. So it's not all men that don't like house chores. So men might be good with house chores, and just try to find a balance, right, and delegate. Can I handle this? Can I handle that? Even regarding finances too, you can delegate. Okay, can I take up this responsibility in terms of from my income, I would care for this or care for that. So delegate. Then for E is ensure that you create time for family. All right, as a career woman, ensure you create time for family. You can just maybe one day just say all work out.
Putting it on pause or
Yes,
hold.
putting them on hold, and then create family time. Sometimes I'll probably be so late at work, and when going home, I'll just buy something I know my husband will like and just use it. Well, you might consider it as a bribe, but again,
It
that's my
works.
own way of appeasing and saying I'm sorry for spending long hours out. And again, for the children, just find time, take them out, right? Again, as much as possible, find what works for you and your family. For some families, it might be movies, it might be games. For others, it might be reading. For others, so different things work. For others, it might just be going out or traveling. So just find what works and create family time. So at the end of it all, after working and all, just know that you still have your family to go back to. So you have to ensure that that aspect of your life is settled in a way. And there's actually a way that not having a very fantastic family or not being at peace at home affects your work. So as much as possible, you have to ensure that there's peace at home. Strive and do everything possible to ensure you create family time and also create your me time.
I was going to touch on that you've talked about family, you've talked about work. How do you balance? How do you create your me time? Like, I'm super big on mental health. I don't know why. Like, I'm really big on it. So if I have any conversation around you, I really want to know how you balance that when it comes to your own mental health. Are there times you feel overwhelmed? Because I suppose get overwhelmed at little things. Are there times you feel overwhelmed? How do you measure up for those things?
Yes. Okay. So for me, when I'm overwhelmed, I just shut down. Like, so nothing gets in anymore. So the way I create my me time is one by rising early first. So I'm a bit of a spiritual person, so I like to have that conversation and relationship with God first. Then I'm also big on learning regularly, so I like to read as well. So sometimes maybe it might be in transit, I take my book and read, or on my phone, my ebooks I read. Other times, I might just want to go out. Sometimes I just force my husband that, please, let's just go out, or let's just go out with the children. So it's just, what are the things you like? Then in creating a me time, what are things you actually want to do? And look for ways, or during the day or whenever it is, to just ensure that you create that time for yourself. And don't forget your dreams as well. So most times when you are
You don't
up
get
and about,
lost
you
in
don't
the
you
whole
don't
thing.
get lost in the mix.
It's been an interesting conversation. Let's just end it out. Let's have a recap, or no, that's not even a recap this time around. Let's just share like your exciting experiences or your moments in terms of parenthood.
Okay, so for me, almost every day is an exciting time for me. But some of the things that just make me happy, the thought of even just going home to see my kids smile at me. Sometimes I'll be so late and I'll just see at least one of them, at least one of them still awake, waiting for mommy to come. That delights me. And children have their funny tantrums. Those things also
Oh, that's so
excite me.
interesting. I'm one of those people that used to shout, my ovaries, my ovaries,
Oh
my ovaries.
yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's so interesting. Thank you for stopping by to share these moments with us. It was such an interesting session. At least I've learned those five, the A, B, C, D, E. I'm going to hold that. I'm going to put them on my palm, my left palm, so I don't eat with it. Thank you very much for stopping by. I wish you success in your work and also in the family line. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And that's all we have for you on today's episode of the Women's Series. It's been an amazing journey throughout the month of July. I mean, you can think back from when we had Veronica come in, and today we're ending it on a good light. For August, we'll be looking at women in STEM. When I mean STEM, I mean science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We're looking at how we can leverage on this what's it called, professional lines, and then make money out of it. Keep it a date with me next week, and happy new month in advance. If you would like to follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen, and also if you'd want to learn more about your personal finance and watch more of our news stories and watch our videos, log on to www.proshareng.com/webtv. Until next week, thank you for watching, and have a good day. Bye.